Justin Warner here with beef super producer Les Shaw. Welcome. I am so excited to talk about holiday beef.
Thanks for having me, Justin. This is awesome.
So what I'm going to do today is kind of show you a riff on a beef Wellington. Now, beef Wellington is generally thought of as this sort of labor-intensive yet very fancy sort of holiday roast. But I've got a couple creative hacks that are going to keep you saving some money and from having to use a whole bunch of tools. As a matter of fact, with a frying pan and an oven, you can get this done. You ready?
I am.
All right, so I've taken a piece of tenderloin and I have seared it in a hot pan. Inside, under this golden exterior, you are going to have totally raw beef.
Could you explain the braising part of it?
Searing, yeah, I can explain searing, absolutely. So searing is the time when it is okay to set off your smoke alarm. You need to have an incredibly hot pan, not a non-stick pan preferably, but like a stainless steel or cast iron pan. That's something that's gonna hold a lot of heat, retain that heat, and then transfer that heat into caramelization of the exterior of the beef. I generally do searing with my windows open, with the fan on, with someone wafting at the smoke detector, because to get this sort of intense caramelization, which is also an enhancement of flavor, you're gonna need incredibly high heat. I generally like to make sure my pan's at least 500 to 700 degrees.
Whoa.
Yeah, the hotter the better when it comes to searing. So, generally, a beef Wellington is a tenderloin that is wrapped in a mushroom mixture called duxelle. It sounds very fancy, and it is a little bit time consuming, and you also need to generally have like a food processor or a grandma to cut up tons and tons of mushrooms. So I'm like, why bother? If I can simulate, possibly even to greater effect that, by using that old holiday staple, you know what it is, right? Cream of mushroom, right? Cream of mushroom, man. So I'm just gonna mix this up with some Italian seasoned panko breadcrumbs. So generally in a duxelle, you know, you would want to have some chunkiness, you would want to have some herbs in there with the mushroom. We're accomplishing all of that with two pantry staples. And it's simple. Do you think you could do this, mixing these things up?
I maybe be able to pull that off.
All right, I think anybody could. I hear you're actually quite the gourmand.
I don't know.
All right, well, we'll see, we'll see. So anyway, this is going to be kind of like a paste that envelops our Wellington. The thing I love about this is that mushroom, cream, all of those things are like BFFs, in my opinion, with beef. How do you feel about that?
I would agree. We cook a lot with cream of mushroom and casseroles and whatnot with beef.
I love it. All right, so we're gonna spread this good guy out into our puff pastry. It's kind of a ninny's product, to be honest, but I think that it also shows off some fun and excitement around the holiday. You can find it generally in the refrigerator or frozen section, and you always want to keep it super cool because there's actually tons and tons of pockets of butter in this, another great Cal product. And as that butter evaporates, it will create a gas, and that's what causes the pastry to puff.
There you go.
All right, without further ado, we're gonna kind of spread this out. You know, I almost look at a Wellington, which some people say is named after a boot, you know, the Wellington boot.
Sure.
As being kind of like burrito making. I don't know if you've ever made burritos, but
absolutely.
Yeah, generally, you know, you always start a burrito by smearing something onto whatever your vessel may be. And so this is where we do that. I'm so excited about this. It already smells darn good, and we haven't done anything.
It does.
That's my favorite part of cooking, really, is the intense anticipation. All right. A little more of that. Make sense?
Looks like it fits.
All right. You know what they say, if the boot fits, wear it. All right, great. So I've seared this good guy off. I'm gonna try and get this so that I have a nice flat side on the top as I stretch out this puff pastry. Stuff's kind of delicate, but if it rips, you can just patch it. Just like so. I always fold the sides of the burrito in first, that's just me. Oh man, I am so pumped about this. Great. Now, I'm going to fold these good guys up over the top. Like so. Then, fold these good guys. This is really sticky stuff, man. Like so. The great thing about this is, unlike wrapping presents, you don't have to be neat, because what we're gonna do is flip it like that.
Boom.
Right? So now that we've got this parcel wrapped and ready to go, I'm just going to cut a couple little slits in it. One for presentation. It's going to look cool, but also so that some of the steam from the inside can escape. How do you feel about that?
Makes sense.
Okay, from here, and this is so simple, I'm just gonna put it on a pan and into the oven it will go. So to finish this off, I'm just gonna give it a brush with some beaten egg.
Can you tell me, Justin, what's more important, the temp of the meat or the look?
I mean, the temperature, hands down. You know, the numbers don't lie. Unless you have a faulty thermometer, you know, the numbers don't lie. And beef is generally, cut for cut, going to behave roughly the same way. You know, the temperatures are standardized. It's the reason that you can use them, and it's the reason why it works. So I always cook to temperature. And I think that, you know, kind of a tip for home cooks is, if you really want to treat yourself well this holiday season, obviously thing number one is cook beef, but thing number two, get yourself a nice thermometer to ensure that you are respecting the beef that you've taken such care to bring to us.
Good tip.
So tell me, how do you, as a rancher and beef producer, how do you like your beef?
I like mine from medium rare to rare.
I see. I gotta admit, I'm the same way. And this, I think, is really gonna tickle your beefy bone.
Awesome.
All right, I am so pumped about this. I mean, doesn't that look beautiful?
It does. It smells fantastic.
All right, so we've got our Wellington here. I used my trusty thermometer to make sure that this is the temperature that I like. We've let it rest. Are you familiar with resting? No, you're not, because you're a rancher.
Not much. Explain the rest.
Yeah, so resting essentially, when you add heat to something, think about a pot of water, right? When you add heat to it, what happens? The water gets excited and agitated, it starts to bubble and boil. So as you heat things, not vibration specifically, but movement within it is happening. And so as we heat this up within our beef itself, all of that delicious beefy juiciness is like running around like 4-year-olds in a bouncy castle. Basically, what I want them to do, so as when you cut into this, I want those kids to settle down a little bit. It's nap time. That when we cut into this, kids, AKA beef juice, is not bouncing all over the place, and it's getting into my palate, not onto the plate.
Gotcha.
Make sense? Resting. It's a real creative name for ignoring it, leaving it alone. We've done that. One thing that I love about this, and that I think makes it super special for holidays, is that it has a reveal. Right? If I were to just take a picture of this and send it to someone, or I say, hey, what is this? They might say, that's a nice looking loaf of bread. But you and I know that this is actually a present, and it's a present from hardworking people like you, because inside, we've got beef. You excited?
I am.
All right, without further ado, let's open up this package. Oh man, it's heavy. Like, I am so pumped. All right, so I'm just gonna carve right into this. It's so flaky already. I can hear the crustiness of it.
You can see it.
I know, right? Okay. I'm gonna cut a big piece. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
I don't want to break too much of my pastry. Wow. Oh, shucky ducky. Look at that. How do you feel about that?
That makes me ready to eat.
Right? Smell. Yeah. Look at that. Nice and pink, nice and rosy inside. I think anybody could get behind that, right?
Beautiful.
It's almost, thanks to the insulation power of the puff pastry and that breadcrumb mixture that we put on there, you can see that it's a gentle transition from color to color. That means that it's been a gentle cook on this good guy. I am so pumped. Do you want to try a piece?
Absolutely.
All right, well, look. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna cut a little sliver from here, if that's okay with you. Look at how juicy that is. Oh my God. Wow. And then we'll just split this up. Are you okay with an end piece like that?
You bet.
All right, well, the price is right, I tell you that. It's gonna be hot, man. It's really hot. All right, let's try this out. All right, how do you feel about this? I mean, do you think, Les, that this would be an ideal holiday centerpiece?
I don't know who wouldn't love that. This makes me proud to be part of the beef industry, and thank you.
Oh, shucks, man, I'm so honored. I tell you what, you keep making the great beef, I'll keep making the great recipes, and thank you all for choosing beef this holiday season.